conversation I had with a homeboy of mine about attraction to beauty. This concept of attraction to beauty essentially is just what we're attracted to on the inside, and just like, because I mean, we're talking about like deeper than just what our eyes see and what our chemicals in our body are talking about, but something kind of beyond that. Like, I have an attraction to beauty to seeing like a parent being really sweet with their child. That's a beautiful thing to see. Tender moments between a couple, tender moments between friends, all these things, right? So like, attraction to beauty is a really amazing thing. Those moments of someone triumphing over something like that they could have done that would have been like trifling or, underhanded or, dishonest. Like, those are really special moments when they're caught well on camera. When they're able to actually capture that in the story and you see it, you're like, whoa, that was well done. And you'll see it, you'll notice it, even if it's just a little moment. And I think that that's something very important and special to note, because there's a complexity to understanding how to deliver that type of story. Yeah. That's not like a simple story. Like, you really have to actually think very well, and you have to have been in that situation to write that kind of material. That's not something that you're like, oh, well, maybe they had this embrace, and then feel honest and genuine. You won't really get that. You get that from someone experiencing something and really So it's like this beauty in the challenge and the trial and the suffering, which is not just beauty because she's a hot chick or he's a well-built dude. You know what I mean? Like, taking it beyond that superficial level. So this attraction to beauty thing and how it plays into like what we really want and need, so that we don't get the one-dimensional Jack Bauer character, because I mean he's a walking cartoon. Yeah. He's not he's not hard to understand. Like, there's nothing hard to understand about Jack Bauer. He's very straightforward, which makes for very easy television, which is what essentially happens when you have generally lazy writers. You hear that, writers? Do your work. We want characters that are a little deeper than that. Like, we strive to like seek out the stories where you get someone who you can kind of latch onto. Be like, I don't know, for me, Stringer Bell was really interesting in The Wire, in addition to Omar, who's a fabulous character. But anyway, so like, just thinking, thinking about like all these characters that, like, why did you love those characters? And storytelling is amazing when it comes to like these ideas, because storytelling allows us to even put our own like values on hold when we're watching something. Even if you see someone who does something counter to your values, you'll watch the story to see where they go with it. But someone who says something out loud in your presence that might be counter to your values,
you might have like a potential altercation.
Right. Right.
The way we tell our stories too, like as a community, like as a society, I think is very underappreciated as well, because of the role it has in sort of like shaping the way children like view the world and view society. And like the way I learned to think about things was affected like greatly by the kinds of stories that were told to me when I was a kid, and like the kinds of shows that I saw, like the cartoons, like the heroes, the villains, like all of these things were the first sort of introduction in my life to like what these people look like, what it looks like to be a good person, what it looks like to be a bad person, and like there was nothing in between. And so all along the way, it sort of like gives us the impression that things are more simple and more straightforward and more black and white than they really are. And it doesn't serve us well the more aware we become of the complex nature of the world around us and the society that we live and move in, and how everything doesn't work like that. Like, you're not always your best self, Like, it's a struggle. Like, you have to work at it. Like, if you want to be upright. That comment should be stricken from the record.
Permanently.